In this AlignMix video, you will learn how to view and customize your static layers, and also how to create new static layers for your AlignMix files. By default, the static layer that is always turned on is the US states, and you can see those US states by that gray outline here on the screen. You can toggle on and off that static layer by clicking on Layers, and then under Static Layers we can click that and it will turn off the state boundaries. Clicking it back on will display them once again. We can customize that static layer under Configure Layers, and then here on the left side you will see which static layers are currently installed into this AlignMix file. By default it will be US states, so if we click here on US states, you can see what color that boundary will be when it appears on your screen, what the width is of that line, and at what zoom levels they will appear at. You can also use a static layer as a filter layer. That means you will be able to hold control on the keyboard to hug those state boundaries. You can also install the US counties as a static layer into any map, so you can see where those US county boundaries exist when you're creating sales territories in your map. So let's click here on OK to close out of the Configure Layers, and now we will go ahead and create a new static layer based on our current territory boundaries. A static layer is a snapshot in time, so the static layers will not move when you adjust territory boundaries. So when we create a static layer for our original territory boundaries, that's exactly what that boundary will be. It will show you where those territories used to exist. To create that static layer for our territory boundaries, you click here on File, then we click on Export, and then we export alignment as static layer. And at this time, we'll only do it for territories, but you can do it for districts and regions. So we click here on Next, and we'll have the software call that static layer Old Territory Boundaries, and then click on Next. Here we can customize how that static layer will appear on this map. So let's change the color, and I'm going to make it a bright green color. I'll make the line a little bit thicker, and we want that boundary to appear when we've zoomed all the way out to zoom level 0. Clicking here on Next, we can add this new static layer to the current project we're working on, or we can save it as a static layer file, which we can then pull into any other AlignMix file. So let's click here on Finish, and now you can see that bright green outline has appeared surrounding every territory. So now let's zoom into Denver, where you can see that green boundary, and I will use the Touch Align tool to change the territory boundary for Territory 177. As I move that pink territory to the west part of Colorado, you'll see that the pink territory is moving, and that green boundary stays exactly where it was when we created the static layer. And remember, the static layer we've just created is a snapshot in time, so it will not change when you're using the Touch Align tool or the Lasso tool to make zip code reassignments. And if you wanted to further customize this new static layer, you could do that from Configure Layers, and now, in addition to states and counties, you will see Old Territory Boundaries, and in this view we can customize how that static layer will appear on your map. And there you go, you've just learned how to customize and create new static layers in AlignMix.